what I've been hearing over and over again in my mind this morning is that there is a war going on for your mind. One of the most famous quotes from the original Matrix movie when Morpheus is speaking to Neo. And it's important for us to understand the manipulation of our mind is how they control and devour our souls. If they can corrupt our minds, they have access to our heart and souls because we are not perceiving ourselves, the world around us, humanity, the universe, with the right sense of perspective. And that is why it is so imperative for us to be discerning at this time and to understand the ways in which we have been manipulated and controlled. This is psychological and spiritual warfare, and they are working overtime to corrupt souls, to manipulate minds, to circumvent the power of the heart, to make us believe that we are not strong, that we are not powerful, that we are not capable. If they can push us to a place of hopelessness and helplessness, then they win. It is only in us remembering who we are, remembering the power of our souls and our heart, that we will be able to find the ability to circumvent and to fully disrupt the programming that is working overtime to continue to extract and harm. Okay, so the devil, right on time. The devil's in the details, and the details are that they've been working overtime to manipulate us and control us. They have shackled us to a system, a belief system, a construct, an economy that is extractive, exploitative, unbalanced, unfair, and literally has people working against their own best interests and the interests of humanity in order to make a very small group of people more rich and more powerful than they already are. This is a time of shedding that devil energy, right? We see the snake here. It's the year of the snake. It's time for us to fully understand and accept that the authorities, the powers that were, those that are pulling the strings are not our friends. Aligning ourselves with them, aligning ourselves with the lesser evil, which means we're still aligning ourselves with evil. This is a time for that to stop and to end. This is a time to let the devil be the devil, to call a spade a spade. We do not need to advocate for systems that are working against us actively, and people who are comfortable enough to ignore reality because it's not affecting them, they're in for a rude awakening. Do not avoid, do not resist the truth, no matter how uncomfortable and scary it is, because until we see the truth, there's nothing we can do to change it. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be distracted. They want you to be chasing escapism. They want you to be numbing yourself with food addiction, porn addiction, drug addiction, all of the things, so that you can't see what's going on. Now is the time to be clear-minded and sober in our thinking. Now is the time for us to understand that the way that we're occupying our mind and our time is really, really crucial. It's really crucial. It's not a joke. I know we cope by making jokes and memes and et cetera, but it's serious. Page of Pentacles reversed. the things that we have held as valuable are no longer valuable. The ways in which we have compromised our values and our soul to make the almighty dollar. Oh, well, I'm just going to keep working for this evil corporation because that's the only option I have because I got to pay my bills. And then what? They still lay you off, or your mortgage doubles because of the percentage rate, or your rent increases, and yet you're still showing up even though you're getting less and less and less. Which again, we have learned to cooperate with our own destruction, and that's not going to work anymore. Aligning yourself with your oppressor is no longer going to be paying off. The ways in which we have coped in this inverted, upside down reality, they're not going to work anymore. The only way is for us to accept the harsh truth, the harsh reality. 10 of Pentacles reverse. You're not going to win in a system that is rigged against you. There is no winning in this system. Any idea that we could was a lie to keep us compliant, to keep us controlled, to keep us manipulated. Money is a construct. The value we place on it is a value that we've been told to place on it by our oppressors. We are being given an opportunity to understand the ways in which we have been manipulated and to extract ourselves from this extractive system. This is not anything to try to save. This is not a system worth saving. This is not a system worth aligning with. This is a system we need to free ourselves from. Queen of Wands, have a spine. Find the courage within. Find the fire within. Do I know it's difficult? Absolutely. But this is a time to remember who the F you are. Right? You see people all over the world going through extreme levels of suffering that are fighting back, that are finding hope. In the United States of America, it's really easy for us to give up hope by doing nothing and by giving into hopelessness and apathy. Apathy is only something you can give into when you have privilege. So it's time to check the privilege and to find your spine, to stand up for something, to stand up for yourself, to stand up for your loved ones, to stand up for humanity. What are we doing this for? Right? What are we doing this for? Why are we going through this if we're not going to do everything in our power to be the change we want to see, to fight for the change, right? To understand that 10 of Cups, emotional fulfillment, love, happiness, abundance cannot come from this system. It's inverted, it's extractive, it's exploitative. The only way that we are going to find true love, beauty, happiness, peace is in community and in fighting for the things and the people that we know are worth fighting for. Now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to give in. Giving in is so easy. Find your backbone, find your spine. We have a lot of work to do. If you need to rest, go ahead and rest. But we need to find the confidence in ourselves and in humanity to fight for what we all deserve. We deserve freedom. We deserve dignity. We deserve respect. We deserve love. We deserve joy. We deserve peace. But what are we going to do about it?